historic occasion. Can I say to both Prime Ministers, thank you for what you've invested into this agreement through your friendship and your determination to bring our two countries together. We find ourselves at this historic moment. To my good friend Piyush Goyal, thank you for your friendship over the last 7 and 8 months. Ever since we enjoyed that wonderful lunch in New Delhi, 3 hours one-on-one, where we set ourselves the task of concluding this agreement, we have worked tirelessly with our negotiators to make sure that we've got to this occasion. We are very confident that this deal will see our two-way trade, the trade between our nations, double in the coming years. We also know that this agreement will underpin the economic stability of the Indo-Pacific. It is an agreement for its time. It is an agreement for this moment. And it's wonderful to be able to join with you to sign it. And what a wonderful occasion to be doing it on India's New Year. This will create a new dawn for our nations, but also it is wonderful to be able to celebrate it on such an august occasion in India. Thank you very much.
I'd like to invite Shri Piyush Goyal, Minister of Commerce and Industry, Consumer Affairs and Food, and Public Distribution and Textiles of India to make some remarks.
Thank you. Your Excellency, Honourable Prime Minister Mr. Scott Morrison, Honourable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, my friend Minister Tehan, India and Australia are natural partners, connected by shared values of democracy, rule of law, and transparency. Like two brothers, both nations supported each other during the COVID-19 pandemic. Our relationship rests on the pillars of trust and reliability, aptly reflected in our deepening geostrategic engagement through the Quad and the Supply Chain Resilience Initiative. Today is a historic day for our ties as we sign the Economic Cooperation and Trade Agreement, Indus Ekta. In a way, it started when Prime Minister Shri Modi visited Australia in 2014, and I remember his words, Australia will not be at the periphery of our vision, but at the center of our thought. I see a great future of partnership between India and Australia and a shared commitment to realize it. Recently, the leaders met virtually for the Indus Summit, and within 10 days, we are here to witness the signing of the Indus Ekta. I'm grateful to our leaders who guided and motivated us to complete the agreement in a truly cooperative spirit, understanding each other's sensitivities. My deep sense of appreciation goes out to both teams for their outstanding work. Given the time difference between the two nations, the negotiations would run into late nights, with either side remaining awake on many an occasion. The Indus Ekta would remove barriers to trade and will open a plethora of opportunities in both goods and services for both nations. It is expected that the bilateral trade would go from the existing $27 billion to nearly 45 to 50 billion US dollars over the next 5 years. There is huge potential in areas like textiles, pharmaceuticals, hospitality, gem and jewelry, and IT, amongst others, creating huge employment in both countries. I am confident that this multifaceted and forward-looking Indus Ekta will take our ties to greater heights. Thank you very much. Namaste.
The document will now be signed by Minister Tian and Minister Guyul. I will now invite Honourable Prime Minister of the Republic of India, Shri Narendra Modi, to make some remarks.
प्रधानमंत्री मॉरिसन, ऑस्ट्रेलिया और भारत के ट्रेड मंत्री और हमारे साथ जुड़े दोनों देशों के सभी मित्रगण, नमस्कार। एक महीने से भी कम समय में आज मैं अपने मित्र स्कॉट के साथ तीसरी बार रूबरू हूं। पिछले हफ्ते हमारे बीच वर्चुअल समिट में बहुत प्रोडक्टिव चर्चा हुई थी। उस समय हमने अपनी टीम्स को इकोनॉमिक कोऑपरेशन एंड ट्रेड एग्रीमेंट पर बातचीत शीघ्र संपन्न करने का निर्देश दिया था और मुझे बहुत खुशी है कि आज इस महत्वपूर्ण समझौते पर हस्ताक्षर हो रहे हैं। इस असाधारण उपलब्धि के लिए मैं दोनों देशों के ट्रेड मंत्रियों और उनके अधिकारियों का हार्दिक अभिनंदन करता हूं। मैं ऑस्ट्रेलिया के पूर्व प्रधानमंत्री और वर्तमान में प्रधानमंत्री मॉरिसन के ट्रेड एनवॉय टॉनी एबट का भी विशेष रूप से अभिनंदन करना चाहता हूं। उनके प्रयासों से इस प्रक्रिया में तेजी आई। फ्रेंड्स, इतने कम समय में ऐसे महत्वपूर्ण एग्रीमेंट पर सहमति बनना यह दिखाता है कि दोनों देशों के बीच कितना आपसी विश्वास है। यह हमारे द्विपक्षीय रिश्तों के लिए सचमुच एक वाटरशेड मोमेंट है। हमारी अर्थव्यवस्थाओं के बीच एक दूसरे की आवश्यकताओं को पूरा करने का बहुत पोटेंशियल है। मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि इस एग्रीमेंट से हम इन अवसरों का पूरा लाभ उठा पाएंगे। इस समझौते के आधार पर हम साथ मिलकर सप्लाई चेन्स की रेजिलियंस बढ़ाने और इंडो पैसिफिक क्षेत्र की स्टेबिलिटी में भी योगदान कर पाएंगे। फ्रेंड्स, पीपल टू पीपल ये रिश्ते भारत ऑस्ट्रेलिया मित्रता का महत्वपूर्ण स्तंभ है। यह एग्रीमेंट हमारे बीच स्टूडेंट्स, प्रोफेशनल्स और पर्यटकों का आदान प्रदान आसान बनाएगा, जिससे ये संबंध और मजबूत होंगे। मैं एक बार फिर दोनों देशों की टीम्स को इंडिया ऑस्ट्रेलिया इकोनॉमिक कोऑपरेशन एंड ट्रेड एग्रीमेंट इंडोस एकता के प्रभावी और सफल नेगोशिएशन पर बधाइयां देता हूं। प्रधानमंत्री मॉरिसन को आज के आयोजन में शामिल होने के लिए मेरा हार्दिक धन्यवाद और ऑस्ट्रेलिया में आने वाले चुनावों के सफल आयोजन के लिए मेरी शुभकामनाएं। और ऑस्ट्रेलिया की महिला क्रिकेट टीम को भी कल खेले जाने वाले विश्व कप फाइनल के लिए शुभकामनाएं। नमस्कार।
I will now invite the Prime Minister of Australia, the Honourable Scott Morrison MP, to make some remarks.
Modi, hang on, you right to go? Your Excellency, my dear and trusted friend, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, to Minister Goyal and to Minister Tian, namaste, but also g'day from here in Launceston, in the island state of Tasmania. I feel it's a very timely and relevant place for me to be because this is the home of crayfish, of sheep meat, of our wool and the many other berries and other things that form part of this agreement. I'm so pleased to be able to join you here from Tasmania today. As Prime Minister Modi mentioned, it was only last week that we were meeting as part of a very productive annual virtual summit, but this was of course not the first time we've met. We've met on many, many occasions. And I go back to 2014, where I had the good fortune to be seated next to Prime Minister Modi then, Prime Minister when I was then the Immigration Minister. And it was Prime Minister Abbott who introduced us on that day back in 2014. And I also want to join with Prime Minister Modi in extending my thanks to the former Prime Minister Tony Abbott when it comes to the agreement that we've been able to reach on this day. I said then at our virtual summit last week that the pace and scale of our cooperation since we announced our comprehensive strategic partnership has been remarkable. Some $282 million in new initiatives that my government has announced, including at the summit, which will drive our expanding cooperation. This is the single largest Australian government investment in our relationship with India, but it won't be the last. And now we mark another milestone in that relationship, the signing of the Indus Agreement, the Australia-India Economic Cooperation and Trade Agreement. This agreement further develops on the promise of our economic relationship, realises it. It will facilitate cheaper Australian goods to India, wool, horticulture, coal, LNG amongst many others, supporting India's economic growth and development. It will unlock deeper cooperation in critical minerals and rare earths, which I know is an area of increasing importance to India's growing manufacturing sector and a very common topic of our discussions as part of the Quad Leaders Dialogue, which I share with Prime Minister Modi. And it will further deepen the warm and close ties between our people by delivering increased work, study and travel opportunities. Importantly, it sends a powerful signal to our businesses and investors alike that one of the biggest doors is now open to a great economic partnership, two dynamic regional economies, like-minded democracies, working together for mutual benefit. It also delivers a clear message that democracies are working together and ensuring the security and resilience of our supply chains. I very much want to commend both of our ministers, Ministers Goyal and Minister Tian, and the many officials for their great work and their impressive efforts in securing this outcome. I thank also our High Commissioner Barry O'Farrell, who was sent as our High Commissioner by myself as a dear and close friend to be our ambassador to my dear and close friend, Prime Minister Modi. I welcome our agreement today as a first step towards full comprehensive economic cooperation agreement between our two great nations by the end of the year. And I thank you for your commitment and perseverance in securing this great achievement. I thank you also, Prime Minister, for your kind wishes in relation to the Women's World Cup. And we look forward to continuing great friendly competition. But when it comes to our economies, we are very much on the same team pursuing the economic advancement for both of our peoples. I'm jealous of only one thing, and that was I wasn't able to be at that what sounded like a very nice lunch in New Delhi between our ministers. And I look forward to being able to join Prime Minister Modi, hopefully in the not too distant future, where we can speak again, but this time face to face.
Thank you. That concludes the signing ceremony.